For centuries, the temple stood dormant beneath the earth, an enigma lost to time, its origins unknown. The ancient stone edifice was hidden deep in the forgotten desert, its entrance sealed by an avalanche of rock and earth that had long ago claimed its inhabitants. The world had moved on, forgotten the legends, and passed over the ground where the temple lay. But deep beneath the surface, something stirred, something long buried. Her name was Seraphina, but she had long since forgotten what it meant. Her memories were hazy, a faded tapestry of half-images and whispered voices from times long past. All she knew for certain was the hunger, an all-consuming gnawing that filled her from the core, the insatiable craving for something vital, something irreplaceable. Seraphina's form was a marvel of intricate design, a being crafted not of flesh, but of something far older, more ancient. She was a being of light and shadow, of ethereal beauty and terrifying power. Her hair, silver like moonlight, cascaded in waves down her back, and her skin shimmered with a faint, otherworldly glow. Her eyes, twin pools of violet, held the wisdom of an age long past, though they had been closed in slumber for untold centuries. But now her eyes snapped open, the dark recesses of the temple echoing her awakening with the rumble of shifting stones and the quiet tremor of the earth. The hunger gnawed at her once more, far more urgent than before. She had awakened. She had been freed. But something was wrong. She had been buried alive, left in the dark for centuries, but she was not alone. The echoes of something else lingered in the temple's vast halls, something primal, something that had been waiting for her return. Her senses tingled, drawn to the surface. The ground above her, once solid and unmoving, was now shifting, unstable, and she could feel the presence of life. Above, a lone wanderer moved across the desert, his footfalls soft against the scorched earth. His name was Jaxon, a man who had long since given up on seeking treasure or glory. The life of a scavenger was all he knew, and though he had heard rumors of strange happenings in the desert, he never expected to find himself standing at the entrance of a forgotten temple. Jaxon crouched, wiping the sweat from his brow as he scanned the rocky landscape. A faint glow, so subtle it could have been a trick of the light, caught his eye, emanating from beneath a mound of dirt. His curiosity piqued. He moved toward the source, his heart racing as he uncovered the opening of the buried temple. He had no idea what he was about to unearth. Seraphina felt the presence above her grow stronger. It was a human, a lone figure, weak and fragile compared to her, but it was enough. The hunger surged again, demanding satisfaction. It was time. She needed to feed. As Jaxon dug further, his tools scraping against the rock, he couldn't shake the feeling that something watched him. When he finally cleared the last of the debris, the stone door groaned open, revealing a dark and expansive hall beyond. Jaxon hesitated, but something called to him, something irresistible, something ancient. Without fully understanding why, he stepped inside. The air was cool and heavy with the scent of ancient stone. The darkness was thick, but a soft violet glow illuminated the space, casting eerie shadows against the walls. Jaxon's breath caught in his throat as he saw her, Seraphina lying upon an altar, her eyes still closed. The glow came from her, and he felt a chill run down his spine. There was something undeniably alluring about her presence. Jaxon took a step forward, his hand instinctively reaching out to touch the ancient stone. As soon as his fingers brushed the surface, a voice echoed in his mind, soft and insistent. "You have awakened me, human. You have brought me back." Jaxon froze, his heart hammering in his chest. The voice was not his own, yet it resonated within him, filling him with a sense of profound understanding. He looked around but saw no one. "Who are you?" he whispered, his voice trembling. "I am Seraphina. I have been buried for centuries, hidden from the world, waiting for the moment when I would awaken. And now I am awake." Jaxon took a cautious step back, unsure of what was happening. But before he could react, Seraphina's eyes fluttered open, her violet gaze locking onto him with an intensity that sent a jolt of recognition through his veins. She rose slowly, her form fluid and otherworldly, like a being from another realm. Her beauty was overwhelming, her presence dominating the room. "You have awakened me," she repeated, her voice like the echo of a forgotten dream. "And now I must feed." The hunger was undeniable. It emanated from her like a dark cloud, suffocating the air between them. Jaxon felt it, felt the insatiable craving that seemed to fill the room. He tried to back away, but his legs were rooted to the spot, paralyzed by a force greater than his own will. Seraphina took a step closer, her eyes never leaving his. "You are the one who has awakened me," she whispered, her voice like a caress. "You are the one who will feed me." Jaxon's pulse quickened. He had no idea what she meant, but something deep within him knew he had no choice. The hunger radiated from her, and he could feel it in his own body, a pull that urged him forward. "Feed me," Seraphina repeated, her tone soft and irresistible. "Only you, human, can satisfy the hunger that has tormented me for so long." Jaxon felt an overwhelming surge of fear, but also something else, something like a deep, unexplainable connection. He stepped forward, drawn to her by forces he didn't understand. The air around them seemed to pulse with energy, and before he could stop himself, he found himself standing before her, his hands trembling as he reached out. Seraphina smiled, her lips curling in a predatory grin. She knew what he feared, and she knew how to draw him in. She was not merely a creature of hunger, but of power, a power that was amplified when fed. With one swift motion, she reached for him, her hand brushing against his chest. Jaxon gasped, his body aflame with an intense, otherworldly energy. He felt the surge of power within him, a power that seemed to flow directly from Seraphina. It was as though she was feeding off of him, siphoning the life force from his very soul. "Yes," she purred, her voice low and soothing. "That's it. Feed me, human. Let me take what I need." As the energy flowed between them, Jaxon felt himself weakening, his vision growing dim. But there was no pain, only a strange, almost pleasurable sensation. He was being consumed but not destroyed. In the back of his mind, he realized he had a choice. He could stop. He could break free. But the connection was too strong, and something deep within him knew that if he didn't give her what she wanted, she would never stop. The hunger would never cease. In that moment, Jaxon understood. He was not merely a sacrifice, he was the key. Seraphina's power was drawn not just from her own ancient being, but from the lives of those who had awakened her. He had set the cycle in motion. And in return for his energy, she would rise. She would consume and become more than she had ever been before. But she would leave him alive, just as she had left countless others before him, forgotten and broken, left to wander in the shadow of her power. As Jaxon's energy drained away, his body growing weak, he felt the darkness rise around him. Seraphina, with a final soft smile, released him, her hunger temporarily sated.